Woo! All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. This is Late Night with the Gringo, episode 42, and it's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I believe it is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
I'm old. I keep forgetting what day it is, but it's somewhat of a glorious day. It's somewhat of a good day if you're a Star Wars fan. I don't mean to. I know. You shouldn't pick on other people's misery, but it's not like this person.
Some people's miseries truly are the fortune of others.
Well,
right?
You know what? Hopefully it is. So the news broke today. Kathleen Kennedy was supposed to save Star Wars. Instead, she ruined it. She is going to be out at the end of the year, 2025 now. That's both good and bad because it's just the end of February. It's like, when Joe Biden dropped out of the race, he's still president for a few months. He can still screw things up pretty bad.
Still have to deal with it.
Yeah. So, it shows the thumbnail, Kathleen Kennedy showing us her, her chest, which is
That's the thumbnail?
The thumbnail is her opening up where it's Star Wars with like the rainbow around it. And
oh no!
I was gonna go with the Force is female, but we've seen that one enough.
I hate that.
But what she's done, listen, at Lucasfilm, it was basically as a golden goose. She was given control over it, and
you really didn't have to do much. You just had to listen to. I'm not saying the nerds, but just the geeks, the nerds, the people who were already in charge there and knew what they were doing, and
just listen to the fandom.
Yeah, even the fandom. I'm not saying you have to please the fan base constantly, but again, they're the ones who put you in that position.
Yeah. Well, George Lucas put her in that position.
George Lucas.
I think he regrets that.
George Lucas, and then you had the perfect spot to kind of just build from, and you decided to take a wrecking ball and just destroy any support you could have going further. Or forward, I should say, not even further.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad.
Well, let's run down some of the things. We're going to go over some of the good and the bad. Okay, let's cover the good, okay? I think she was president when she was president. Rogue One.
Yeah, that was good.
I like Rogue One. I know some people have some problems with that particular film. I really enjoyed it. Mando season 1 and 2, cool. Mm-hmm. Season 3 is in the other category. Andor season 1, okay, cool. Financially, The Force Awakens was a huge success. Whether it was a great movie or not, or just
it was average. It wasn't terrible. They just kind of redid A New Hope.
They redid A New Hope. It wasn't anything...
but just bigger and badder. And then they destroyed Coruscant.
And of course, Daisy Ridley's character, the all-powerful girl boss who knows how to do everything, even though,
No training needed.
No training needed. Can fly the Millennium Falcon, no problem. I'm wonderful. Nothing against Daisy Ridley. I think she's a fine person. I think she's probably taken more gruff and crap than she deserves, but
for the role, yeah.
For the role. So I hope her other film. She's in another couple of films this year, and I don't think they're set for limited release, which means that they don't think it's going to make that much money, so they're not going to do a worldwide release. So we got those. Those are the wins. I think those are all the wins I can think of. So let's count.
Oh, hold on. Animated series. What came out? Was the Bad Batch out by then? They did a good job with the animated. I think.
Well, no. Tales of the Jedi wasn't that great, but Tales of the Sith I thought was better. But those are forgettable things. Those are just a couple of animated series.
True, but they have some meaning.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew had potential, but it just didn't make it.
I thought it did.
Not for me. I kept falling asleep while watching it. I just kept falling asleep.
I'm thinking if I'm not mistaken, 3D animated, right?
No, it's just listen. That Skeleton was live action. That was the live action with Jude Law.
Yeah, I'm thinking something else. I'm sorry.
So let's look over the failures. Let's not even go to Star Wars first. Let's look at Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery.
Dial of Dysentery.
I watched it. Yes, I watched it, so I can critique it because I did watch it, even though a lot of you probably didn't because you knew it was coming and it was exactly what you thought it was for not watching it, and it was terrible. And I wish it never happened. It made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It made it look like a Spielberg height of his creative powers kind of movie. So she ruined Indiana Jones. Willow, oh my God. Look, if you're Generation X, if you're my age and you remember the movie Willow when it came out, it was awesome. It was just a great fantasy little film and had a lot of fun. Val Kilmer, Warwick Davis. It was just a cool little, kind of medieval action adventure kind of thing and
fantasy.
And then they decided to do this series bringing it back, and it was terrible. It was so bad they removed it from the Disney platform.
I never saw it.
Yeah, you never will. They removed it from the Disney platform. That's how bad it was.
Did you see it before it was taken away or not?
I saw the first few episodes, and I said I can't watch it.
Well, how did they ruin it? I guess for those
poor acting, poor writing, all about identity politics.
Really?
Yeah, all about identity politics.
Why Willow?
Why not? That's what she was doing, infecting everything else with it. So she's like, okay, I get this property here. Might as well do this too.
All right.
And then we get to Star Wars. We got, like I said, we already talked about The Force Awakens, but then you get to The Last Jedi. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Well, I mean, that was the hammer strike that cracked the whole thing in half.
Is that the second one, right?
Yeah,
The Last Jedi?
yep.
That was... It had potential, I think, when you watched the trailer. You thought, okay, this could be cool. This could be fun. You kind of saw... But then you also kind of thought, this is a little bit ripping off of Hoth. And it did rip off a good chunk of Hoth.
It did, but still, it wasn't even that. It was just the fact that, Luke Skywalker throwing his lightsaber over his shoulder. It was just...
You ruined the characters that were beloved.
Yeah, you crapped all over the character. Him drinking the green milk out of the titty of the whatever that...
Was it green? I thought it was blue milk.
No, this time it was green.
It looked green, but wasn't it called blue milk?
It probably was. I don't know, but it was green to me. I'm colorblind. Y'all can correct me if you want. But all of that. And then you get to the Rise of Skywalker, where basically Daisy Ridley's character steals Luke's X-Wing, steals his lightsaber, steals his home, steals his name.
Steals his identity.
I mean...
he stole his...
Talk about female empowerment. All you got to do to be great is steal everything a guy did. Okay.
Or maid.
Or whatever. And then somehow Palpatine returned. So basically that movie negated every sacrifice Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader made at the end of Return of the Jedi. It negated his whole hero's journey. It negated every bit of it, and basically said
I think the idea with the Palpatine callback, because it was never hinted at They never built on it. Remember?
No, they had no plan going.
They had no plan, and I think that was because that was supposed to be like fan service. They intended for it to be fan service, and they miserably failed at that because instead of appeasing the fans, it actually made the fans be like, "Wait, you just made our favorite trilogy." Almost, if not completely meaningless.
I think also it was also part that they just didn't have a plan, and they're like, "What do we do now? Oh, let's resurrect Palpatine." It was just it was so poorly done.
You know what it was? It was like, well, can't do Leia no more. She's dead. What other Star Wars actors alive? Palp's still kicking.
Yeah,
bring him in.
Yeah. I mean, they screwed Finn over. I mean, I kind of liked him as a character.
I like Finn. They could have developed him. Really,
they could have developed him much better. But also, it really tells you a lot with what they did with the posters for China, with Finn shrinking him down to size and putting him into the background instead of having him up front. Because China, you can't have a black man or a black gay man starring in this movie because it would insult the Chinese, which, it had nothing to do with his character. Who cares, right? I mean,
it's Star Wars.
And I think he's come out and said some critical things of Lucasfilm, Disney, and the whole Star Wars process and being in those movies. And I think, you know what? Somebody ought to listen to him because I think everything he had to say is quite valid.
It's fair. Quite
valid. And I hope that he gets another shot at something else to really kind of stretch his wings, spread his wings as an actor. You had who's it? Isaac? What's his name? Oscar Isaac. Who's one of the Poe Dameron. He's probably one of the better actors of his generation.
Right.
And I'm not saying that he's like the Al Pacino of his time or anything like that. He's not.
I mean, they got to play Moon Knight. I mean, a couple other roles. I think he's prominent.
Don't get me started on Moon Knight.
I know,
don't do it.
But I'm just saying.
You get the
role, but he's done
other.
Good.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
He did a lot of other great films and put in a lot of. But again, I think you had a waste with him. You wasted him. And
I think that first movie, as much as we dislike it for copying A New Hope, you really could have built off of that base into something. Because, like I said, some people had problems with it because it wasn't a full copycat, but it was very similar to a copycat. But the characters were still likable at the moment. You didn't mind Rey. You liked Finn. Poe was cool. Kylo was intriguing, even though he was a little bit emo, kind of too much in that, in my opinion.
A little bit emo, yeah. It's like,
but beyond that, they were still likable. There was still something there. You were kind of intrigued by Captain Phasma. I was like, oh, this is.
Let me actually ask you this too. Like, one of the things we love about the prequel trilogy,
right?
is the lightsaber duels.
Oh my god!
Some of the best lightsaber duels you got to find in all of Star Wars.
Listen, you talk shit about the prequels growing up.
I did because
I've grown
to love them. I've grown to love them.
I grew up with them, so I didn't hate them immediately, but I understood some of the hate.
I've grown to love them.
Listen, was it Revenge of the Sith? Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith, which we're going to talk about
Episode
in a
3.
minute.
Love that. That's like one of my favorites of all time. That opening scene will never beat any Star Wars opening ever.
Actually, for me, it's the second best opening.
Really? What's the
first one is A New Hope, because if you're in the theaters and you've never seen anything like that,
and you just hear the
but then you get the ship coming over, you get the Star Destroyer coming over.
No. Okay, that's fair. Okay, for you that makes sense.
That
for me,
was we're all in the theaters as kids going, whoa!
For me, that's number 2, because I also grew up. Because you put me on them when I was young. I'm not saying you indoctrinated me, but you indoctrinated me into Star Wars. You're here, I got something cool for you.
Maybe that's what's wrong with you. Maybe that's the difference between you and your brother, right? I made you watch Star Wars. I made him watch The Usual Suspects and 7. But anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, there's nothing remarkable. If I say to myself, well, I really feel like, okay, we just moved to a new house. And when you move into a new house, you get to buy a new TV. So I bought a new TV. So what's the first thing you do? You want to test out the TV once it's all hooked up? What better thing is to test out the TV, theatrical and sound and video and all that. And
resolution.
Watch a movie. What movie? A Star Wars movie, right? So I fire up Disney Plus and I'm going through it. I'm like, not Rise of Skywalker. Not last. No.
It's just you're skipping those two.
You put on the beginning of Revenge of the Sith or put on Empire Strikes Back and let's go. And that's how I tested it out. So nothing remarkable. This trilogy, that Disney trilogy, is just not going to be remembered for anything great.
If anything, you'll be remembered for wasting the last opportunity you had to have the core 3 all together. Because you can't ever go back and be like, here's another Leia.
There's another layer. There's Mary Poppins in space. What? I remember watching that the first time going, what is going on here?
The Force, you can breathe in space.
And we can use light speed to ram a ship into another ship.
Now, I understand that is technically through the lore, it's possible to use light, but it's not light speed itself. It's the initial, right before you go into light speed.
Yeah.
But that's not what they did. They have her fully go into light speed and then
eviscerate everything.
Which, again, if you know anything about science and the military, the first thing when you make a discovery like that, the military takes over and weaponizes it.
But yeah, she's going. Who knows what kind of damage she's going to leave on her way out? I mean, there was a lot of factors. I mean, of course, I think. Do I think she's being forced out? No. I think she's just had enough and said, okay, I'm going to go retire. I'm rich enough. Me and my husband are rich enough. And she thinks she's done great things with the Acolyte. She thinks that was great. It was sucked. She thinks Ahsoka was great. It wasn't great. It was mediocre at best, and probably wasn't even mediocre. So Obi-Wan series complete. Here's Obi-Wan. Here's Darth Vader. How do you screw that up?
How did you had a winning formula there, and you took 2 + 2 = 4, and you found a way to try to make. You were like, I know it equals 4, but what if it equals 5?
Yeah. I mean, they took the 3 coolest characters in Disney in Star Wars lore. You got Vader, Obi-Wan,
right?
Screwed them up.
Luke.
No. The other coolest character, the one that fans, Boba. The Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
At first I started, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this, and I'm like, okay, something's wrong with this series, and I'm like,
wasn't Foggy in charge for the first season?
I don't know. But Book of Boba Fett was only one season, buddy.
No, what?
Book of Boba Fett was only one season. Feige works for Marvel. I don't think he ever crossed over to Star Wars. I could be wrong.
I thought he did something.
But it was Jon Favreau.
That's what I'm thinking of. Favreau. Sorry.
But they had a lot of different input there. You want to see Boba Fett flying around in his jetpack just smoking people, but no, you never really saw that.
He epitomizes the idea of being a badass bounty hunter.
And he turned into a negotiating
mayor?
Kind of like mayor. I'm like,
but not even a good mayor, just an average, kind of almost shitty mayor.
Yeah. And then Cad Bane showed up, and they had that little thing, but whatever. And he had the Vespas, the brightly colored Vespas, which I was just like, who made that aesthetic decision? So she's gone. I don't know. Again, I'm always going to be a diehard. I'm always going to love Star Wars. I'm always going to give it a chance.
You're going to always let it hurt you.
I'm always going to it's the ones who love you who hurt you the most. Or it's the ones you love that hurt you the most. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if the Rey Palpatine or Rey Skywalker, whatever you want to call it, comes out. We'll see what happens with Mando and Grogu film. We'll see what happens with the Dawn of the Jedi film with Mangold. We'll see what everything else, if they're going to happen, if they're not going to happen. But here's the big thing. Like, who's going to take over? Is it going to be Filoni? Dave Filoni, who I don't think is really the one that you want because he's part of that agenda that she had. Or is it going to be Favreau, which I don't think Favreau's even really kind of involved too much. I think he sort of stepped back a couple of ways, but there's all sorts of rumors out there. All sorts of rumors. Yeah, that guy.
This guy, no.
That guy. Yeah, that guy. That's Dave Filoni. You saw that.
I know Star Wars Rebels isn't bad. Bad Batch is good.
But it's after he drank the Kool-Aid of Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, he joined that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really?
But we've been wanting it for years. People have been calling it for years. You had all the clickbait. You had tons of clickbait over the last 3 years. I can't count. I can't even remember how many clickbait thumbnails there were with Kathleen Kennedy fired, Kathleen Kennedy out, Kathleen Kennedy gone, and finally it seems to be a reality. So I guess the people who are doing all those clickbaits are going to have to find something to clickbait about. But
can we just give it to Feige?
No, don't give it to Feige.
Not Feige.
He's got enough problems. Leave Feige alone with Marvel.
Who's the other person you can give
Favreau.
it to?
Favreau is the only other person I think you can give it to. I don't think anyone else is out there that can take it. Give it back to maybe Lucas.
Yeah, Favreau. I'd be happy with Favreau. If they gave it to Favreau, I'd have faith. I'd give him a really good shot. Actually, I'd almost let him bore me once. But if he was given, say, responsibility, and his first project was to kind of clear up the timeline and the lore, maybe undo some of the decisions that were made that should never have been made, and I maybe got a little bored with that, I would accept it. Because that would make me happy. Even if it wasn't a good movie or a good project. And then I'd give him a chance for more. But who knows?
We'll see what happens. We've got a few months. But there's the picture. There she is smiling like a person who came into your house for dinner and took a dump on your floor and thought it was a good thing. That's her. That's Kathleen Kennedy. So I guess that's all she wrote. We'll see. Again, it's going to be interesting to see the damage she does on the way out. What kind of things she throws out there as far as quotes or as far as she's infamous for planting things in the press
or even comments.
Throwing people under the bus and stuff like that. So we'll see. But Star Wars fans, I think we have a chance to have some fun when she's gone. So we'll see. All right. But speaking of Star Wars, hey, there we go. We got to get tickets to this. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith returns to theaters for 20th anniversary. Hell yeah, I'll go see this beginning April 25th, the third installment of the Star Wars prequel trilogy will return to select theaters across the U.S. and internationally for a limited one-week engagement. And we happen to live in one of the biggest cities in Mexico. I'm sure there's going to be a showing or two.
I hope they have at least one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that movie right there is what truly got me to Star Wars.
Yeah, so fans can experience the film in several formats, including the immersive 4DX, which...
I don't know if you'd live that.
I saw... What was we saw Red 1 with The Rock, that Christmas movie, and the only showing was 4DX. So I'm like, okay. And I forgot what 4DX was. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is the one where the seats move. And you got okay, if there's water on the screen, it gets sprayed in your face a little bit.
I love that. 4D.
Right?
Oh. Can we?
But the thing is, you're holding on to the chair. If you're me and you're practically a cripple, you're just oh my god, afterwards I'm I had the worst ab workout in the world. My lower back hurt. My wife's I want to go vomit. I'm okay.
Dude, imagine the opening scene.
Oh yeah, with it just diving
down.
All right, the hell with it. We'll do 4D. You know what? Your mother and I will go see it in regular theaters with you, and then we'll bring you, and then you and I will just go 4DX.
Yeah, so she can compare it.
Because I'm gonna get literally. I almost got thrown out of my seat at one point. During this thing.
I can't wait to
literally, I'm holding on, and then you're sometimes there's an empty seat next to you, and you like to put your popcorn there and whatnot because there's no trays.
You can't do that.
Well, I didn't. I totally forgot. So so I put the stuff there, and I'm oh wait, the chairs are moving. And all of a sudden, my popcorn goes flying, and I'm shit. But yes. Yes, let us go see
I want to see you go flying within the first 10 seconds.
20th anniversary right there, baby.
Dive bombing.
Revenge of the Sith.
Gringo's going to be in the front row real quick.
I'm going to be, yeah. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. But yeah, so That's good Star Wars.
And you can review it too, even though it's,
I want to review this new movie I saw. You might not have heard of it. It's called Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. Starring this young upcomer.
Wow. You look at him and he's like, wow, he's aged. Not that much, actually. He's aged pretty well.
Yeah. So let's get to some other pop culture news. We have a new Dumbledore.
Did you need this?
John Lithgow for the HBO Harry Potter series.
Okay. Milking the cow?
Well, they're going to do all the books. It's going to be like nothing's going to be everything from the books are going to be in this series. It's going to redo the whole thing, the movies. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean they're redoing like the movies?
But basically, okay. So the movie, all right. So you get the Prisoner of Azkaban. You can't fit that whole book into a 2-hour movie.
No.
So basically, one season is going to be that entire book.
Are you going to bring back? Was it Redcliffe? Then to play Harry?
No. Everybody's getting all recasted. No, they need kids, dude.
I know. No, I know that, but I mean, like,
everything's recasted. So this is your new Dumbledore.
You're taking some risks by.
Oh wait, I haven't gotten to the risk because I'm okay. John Lithgow's a really good actor.
No, I'm not.
He can do comedy.
I'm not talking about the casting. I'm just talking. Well, I haven't talked about a bit about the casting. I don't know who's been casted, but I like some of those actors are synonymous with those roles.
Yeah.
And you're acting maybe young and upcoming actors. Hey, here's an iconic role that's already been played perfectly on the big screen. Go play it perfectly for a season. Actually, not one season, multiple seasons, essentially.
Yeah, he signed up for multiple seasons. He literally says, it's going to define me for the last chapter of my life, I'm afraid. So he signed on. So he's a good actor. I don't know if he's Dumbledore, but, I'm sure he'll find it. So I'm okay with this. I hope he
speaks like a British prick. I will pay for that.
What is the thing? So he's gonna get that going. Now here's the thing. Let me get up this here.
Who's the rest of the cast?
Well, they really haven't announced, but that's possibly Severus. That's Snape.
I mean, talk about a role that's tough to follow up.
Talk about a role where they specifically say he's like this chalk white person with
translucent,
greasy long white. Like if you read the book, that's not Snape. I'm sure this is a nice man. I'm sure he's got some acting chops and all that.
Translucent snake skin. That man is not translucent nor snaky looking.
But there you go. That's probably that's the rumor that's been going around since late December, early December, that will be Snape. Cillian Murphy is rumored to be Voldemort, which cool. Yeah, he can do that.
See it. Yeah, I see
Cillian Murphy can do that.
Right? Okay, we believe. We'll believe in that cast right there.
The
Snape throws me off. The Snape.
Well, here's the thing.
Being,
I believe this is still the case, that J.K. Rowling has basically final say on all the decisions. So she's not. If she says it's okay, I'm going to trust her because she wrote the frickin' book.
Yeah, but then sometimes they try to throw in messaging, and it's like, why would you ruin?
She's not going to throw in messaging. She's not.
I know. But I feel like by doing it this way, you're almost, in a way, just kind of. You're not maybe doing it on purpose, but it's going to be interpreted as that.
When I look at this person, I go, that's not Snape.
No, I don't think
when they're on screen, they're like, this is Severus Snape. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not Severus Snape. That's not Snape.
British actor Payapa Ezadu, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name because I'm just an idiot. To play one of the hottest TV roles being cast this year. So this is again from last December. And that's really all they have to say about this. And now, of course, like we said, we have Albus and we have the rumors about Cillian Murphy. Fantastic actor. Has got a great resume.
I mean, you're not going to be able to follow up Alan Rickman. I'm sorry.
You got to fill Alan Rickman's shoes.
Yeah, that's Rickman's. Yeah. That's Rickman's. Yeah. That's right. That's his grave. Essentially, you can't really unbury it.
Just saying. That's the deal. So. Yeah, Harry Potter.
Did you think they kind of thought they realized they're never going to be able to replace Rickman, so they thought, let's try something new?
I honestly, with that, I don't know what their decision making is. I really don't. Maybe they're looking for the best actor, and if that's the case, cool. If he's the best actor and did the best performance in the audition, fine, bring it on.
But I mean, again, you're not passing the look test, and that is like half the job when it comes to these fantasy movies. Is you've got to pass the look test. Like if you're going to do a He-Man live action movie, you're not going to get a skinny guy. Who's like can't live.
Well, they're getting a Latino to play the redheaded Sheila. Tila.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is a real thing.
They're getting Jared Leto to play Skeletor.
I know. Okay, but you get my point. You see my point.
I see your point.
See my point.
It's already
Jared Leto's a good actor. Well, maybe not a good actor, but
it's an Amazon Prime thing.
Okay, but Jared Leto's an actor that is at least
decent. Yes, he's decent. Well. He has
prominent roles.
He was in one good movie with one good role that got him the Oscar. Go look at Morbius and tell me he's a great actor. Go look at the Joker.
I never said he was a great actor. I took that back real quick.
Okay. Go look at his performance as the Joker and tell me, oh, yeah, he nailed that. No, I mean...
No, Joker, we don't talk about that.
So...
What was the line he said when he had like the electro shock therapy?
Why are you going to bring me back?
What was that line? I need to find it.
I'm going to hurt you really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to hurt you really, really bad.
Thanks, Joker.
Because he's got a tattoo right on his forehead that says, does it say his name?
Damaged or something.
No, I think did it say? Hold on.
I forgot what. All his damn friggin' tattoos. The silver teeth, his grill, and I was like, what are we doing?
What did it say? Did it say damaged? Please don't tell me it said damaged.
Yeah, you'll have to pull it up there. I have no idea.
They tried to cut it off here.
Oh yeah, they erased it. Yeah, go see what this one says.
It says say damaged. God damn.
It does say damaged.
Damn it does say damaged.
That's just describing the DC universe at that point. It is damaged. Him with his silver teeth.
Why did they do this? When did the teardrop J? Like he killed a man in prison. I get two more if I get two more guys.
The problem is there were a bunch of people that looked at that whole aesthetic with the Joker and go, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
We're going to ignore the purple snake skin or alligator skin jacket too. Oh my God. I know we're off topic, but I mean, please.
We are a little off topic. I'm going to get back on that.
That's why
we're talking DC.
Let me tie it back. That's my point. Looks are half the job when it comes to fantasy roles.
Yeah.
If you don't look the part, and I'm sorry, Snape's described as translucent white, it's going to be hard for me, no matter how good you are, to see that character on the screen and think, wow, that's who I read about, or that's who I grew up reading or seeing.
Well, since we dumped on DC, let's go to some Warner Brothers DC stuff here.
Good or bad news?
We're going to go with good. We'll go with good, then bad. So James Gunn, I just found this interesting, and it's just how he's trying to differentiate himself from the Marvel universe. James Gunn doesn't want his DC universe held back by post-credit scenes. Now there's a whole article here where he basically talks about, listen, when he was writing like things like Guardians and he had to sandwich in a post-credit scene, now he's forced to have Adam Warlock, right? He's forced, to do things later on in scripts. And he feels like post-credit scenes are not always necessary for every movie because it really limits the ability for the next scriptwriter to come about and say, okay, let's write a good story, when saying, well, you have this one really thing here we teased and we've got to fit it in somehow.
Exactly. You have to fit it in. So even if you don't want to go that direction or you want to delay it, you really can't unless you're trying to build up to it.
Here's what he said. Post-credit scenes can be a real nightmare. Like writing Guardians 3, and I wasn't really sure if Adam Warlock should be in it. But I effing promise people, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, well, now I'm writing the script and things change. And I'm like, I'm kind of cramming him in there. And I like him in the movie. I like the character, but it made it a little less elegant in some ways, the film. And so I'm really careful about the sorts of promises that we don't know that we can deliver. Gunn specifically emphasizes the don't know. This is speculative, but here's how we see this. Superman is coming out. That's a fact. And as Gunn is finishing editing on that, Supergirl is in production, as is Lanterns. Those are 100% happening. That makes either a potential candidate for a tease in Superman as opposed to something like The Authority or Booster Gold, which haven't quite been solidified yet. So he's really trying to make sure that he doesn't overpromise and underdeliver. Right. And I think that's something, I
think it's also he's trying to build the universe carefully. Like you mentioned last time, he doesn't want to be writing the scripts for movies on the run. He wants to have them planned, agreed upon. And sure, small changes happen, as you make a movie. But so long as it already has its spot in the universe, you know where you're going.
Yeah, and I think also the other part of that is he's making sure he doesn't handcuff his creative team. He's making sure he doesn't back himself into a corner and goes, I don't know how to write out of this. Or if I try to write out of it, and I try to write something that doesn't really make sense halfway, then it ruins everything else that I've done before. So it's like he's being very careful to keep everything as open as possible and not back the whole DC universe into a corner again. And we're going to see what happens when you back the whole DC universe into a corner, like Warner Brothers has for over the last 10 years. You lose a lot of money.
Right.
And unfortunately, the next article we're going to talk about. So, thank you, Mr. Gunn. So far,
I like the news.
So far, I approve from a longtime DC fan, buddy. All right. Here's the news. Warner Brothers Games is canceling its Wonder Woman game and shutting down 3 studios.
Okay, first thing first.
Yeah.
I never knew this game was in production.
Yeah. I would have bought it. Wonder Woman.
I have no clue about it.
One of the Trinity.
But I'm saying, no, that's not my problem. My problem is like I didn't know it existed.
Oh yeah.
No one talked about this game.
It's been hinted at here and there. So Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego will be closing. All right. Let's get into this.
Okay.
So, Warner Brothers Discovery is making even more big changes to its troubled gaming efforts. As reported by Bloomberg, the company's gaming division is canceling the Wonder Woman game announced in 2021 and shutting down 3 studios: Wonder Woman developer Monolith Productions, Multiverses developer Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego.
Really?
Now, more on Multiverses, which I know you kind of enjoyed. We kind of played around with it.
I haven't played it on it in forever, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when it first came out a bit with you here.
Yeah, it was okay.
Even playing online was fun, actually.
Yeah. It was
A little sweaty, some things.
A little cartoony.
Yeah, Iron Giant was sweaty, but that's okay.
Warner Brothers confirmed the changes in a statement to Kotaku's Ethan Gach. We have to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises. Their key franchise, Harry Potter, that's a key franchise.
Right.
Mortal Kombat, key DC, and Game of Thrones, according to the statement. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios: Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of those teams or the talent that consists within the team, but it's basically financial. So,
yeah, I know. But
all right, it goes on because this actually gets a little bit more interesting. As for why Wonder Woman is being canceled, our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities, the statement says. This is another tough decision as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. Basically, what they're saying is, like, we've lost so much money. We can't afford to spend any more money on this game that's been in development, and we're just going to have to say stop and refocus things right now and maybe get a winner because you look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League when that came out and how that flopped. I mean, it really damaged Warner Brothers Gaming. And it took a lot of other things.
That game killed any credibility they had.
All right, so here we go again. The cancellation and shutdowns are yet another rough spot in Warner Brothers gaming efforts. Player First Games recently announced that Multiverses will be taken offline.
They're shutting down Multiverses completely?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was announced 10 years ago, and they tried to get it on, and then they finally got it on, and it just didn't do what people want. It was full of microtransactions.
Yeah, I hated that. Because even if you did grind, I mean, I unlocked one character, and I thought, okay, maybe it'll be easier to unlock the next characters, and it's just like, nope.
Yep.
It's because the level caps keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it forces you almost, if you want to get a new character, you gotta pay. All
right, so the game receiving its and then Suicide Kill the Justice League was a flop, with that game receiving its last season less than a year after launch. A previous report from Bloomberg said that Warner Brothers gaming division suffered $300 million in losses last year. So, damn. Now, 2023's Hogwarts Legacy was a success, and the company is looking to make a more definitive edition for that game with more content. That I would absolutely take a look at. But Warner Brothers, again, when it comes to DC stuff, of course, that's under DC Studios. As well, you got to get James Gunn because everything's going to tie in. So I think James Gunn probably had to sign off on this by saying, "Yeah, I don't want to put out a product that's not going to be developed the right way or have the financial backing to do it the right way, and then suffer." He's protecting that character of Wonder Woman, and I can absolutely agree with that. And
when are they taking off Multiverses?
This year soon, I think. It didn't give a specific date. And recently announced that Multiverses will be taken offline, ending. So.
I mean, it got released last year, May.
Was it last year? Because you and I played it over the summer, right?
We played it during the summer. It got released last year, May. That means it didn't even survive for about a year.
Remember, this thing was was
Developed for 10 years, right?
launched years ago and didn't. And this was buggy. They took it down and put it in hiatus and tried to fix it, little by little. And so then they relaunched it. And it was just like, okay.
Monolith. They haven't had a good game in a while.
I mean,
they helped develop Breath of the Wild. That's a big one. But still,
again, the impact of Suicide killed the Justice League and that flop, and then them looking over their shoulder and looking over down the road at Sony, going, "Wow, look at what Concord did to them." It's like they're taking these things seriously now. Going, we can't just keep throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at a game that's just not going to make money. You look at Ubisoft. I mean, that's the biggest one, and everybody here knows it's been following me. I love Skull and Bones. I know a lot of people don't. I do. I love playing it. But it cost a lot of money. It lost a lot of money because not a lot of people went to play it. The population started to go up a little bit, but it's just too little too late. And actually, it's been months since I got on it. I know there's a 5th season. I probably should get back on it, but I just haven't had the time.
Technically, Rocksteady created Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but it was financed.
It was financed by Warner's. Of course. But I was confused. I was looking at Monolith Productions to play first games. I was like, I don't think they made that game, but it's all tied to Warner Brothers.
Yeah, of course it is.
Finances,
it's their intellectual property,
right? So. I was confused for a moment. I was like, okay.
So the gaming world, and I've been, here's the thing: just like movies, games, I've been looking like I do reviews. I like to play new games. Download a couple things, do a couple videos here and there. And if you notice, there hasn't been much. Like I'm looking around. I'm like, what new games are coming out? Anything that I'm interested in even looking at and reviewing or playing? And I'm like, there's nothing.
I mean, you saw me looking through games here for a moment. I'm ending up going back towards games I used to play kind of growing up because I'm waiting for the next big thing or something that I know has actually been developed well and has credibility behind it.
I mean, look at the games that I've played. Okay, Skull and Bones. We'll put Skull and Bones aside. Okay, I bought Outlaws because I wanted to review it. My bad, my mistake. Sorry for wasting the money, honey. But then the other games I played that were streaming, right? We got Infamous and Infamous 2, old games. We've got for $18, I absolutely bought and downloaded Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles.
No problem with that.
No problem. Loved that game.
But that's a game from your childhood.
Yeah, basically.
Right, so you can't really count that.
I can't really count that. Because we played Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. Again, that's a game from my childhood. So we can't count that.
Resident Evil 2, I
can't count that. It's from when you first started playing games on the PlayStation, really. What games have we truly... I mean, you see me. What game do I go back to all the time?
MLB.
Well, not just that.
The show, 24. Oh, you go out to Fallout.
Fallout
Either
4,
New Vegas or
Vegas.
Yeah.
You don't see me touch 76.
No, I never see you touch 76.
I never downloaded it because it was such a buggy mess at the beginning. That now it's apparently much better. They've patched it. They've introduced some content. But I just don't. It's all microtransactions, so I'm not going to get into it. Right. Yeah. But really, you end up going back towards games that came out 5 to 10 years ago, because anything now is just iffy, if not fishy.
Yeah. And.
Multiverses shows that. I mean,
so yeah, and again, you and we're waiting on March 18th, right? Or we'll probably get because we're going to buy the advanced edition for MLB.
Yeah,
and so that's the next game we're waiting. Like, I'm not even buying Assassin's Creed. I don't care if I have to. I'm not reviewing.
No,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to.
I don't trust that studio. I mean, look what they did with Skull and Bones. I was excited for Skull and Bones because they made Black Flag.
Yeah.
Which was a game I loved growing up a lot, especially because I grew up loving pirates. I grew up loving the ship mechanics, and I loved being a pirate. Yeah, I was also an assassin, but I played that game a lot also for the pirate aspects, and they nailed it in that game.
Yeah.
They promised to deliver on that base for Skull and Bones, but also develop it more, update the graphics, and expand upon the piracy aspect. And, I mean, no offense, they didn't deliver. I mean, you don't see me touch Skull and Bones. I watch you play it. I think it's cool.
And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I played almost 1,000 hours.
I think it's fine for...
But again, I didn't play... I played
you
it
never played Black Flag.
And not like you did, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the expectations that I had. So when I watched you play, I was like, it's fun. It looks cool if that's what you're expecting. I was expecting more. Yeah, being on a ship is fun. I love being on a ship. But where's the looking for treasure like you did in Assassin's Creed? Where's the hand-to-hand combat? Where's boarding a ship and actually fighting and achieving certain objectives? kill the captain, take the flag down, raise your own flag, eliminate so many people,
Sure.
plundering. It's not the same.
Well, to each his own. But I get it. So that's a lot of pop culture news. Now, I'm a former Apple employee, and I love this story. We're going to talk about this story? All right, we're going to play this video. There we go.
You want to maybe mute us?
No. It's not going to be on. Come on, play it. Play. You don't need to... What's going on here?
I think Fox News is having a rough time.
Yeah, Fox News is having a rough time. There we go. What happens when you type the word racist into the iPhone or speak it?
Racist.
Watch it flash. Just watch.
Racist.
Oh, it says Trump. And then it'll tell you the word.
Racist.
When I first saw this,
Racist.
I was at first I thought you were lying to me because it just sounds something. It sounds like something people would fake. But the amount of like self-recorded videos makes me question
Racist.
if it actually is real.
Now, it doesn't do it every time, but it does it enough.
Yeah, it doesn't enough for you. See right there.
Like if you literally say the word racist into the phone, it flashes Trump first. Now, Apple has an explanation for this, okay?
If you say those words sound similar, I'm going to call bullshit.
Well,
Gringo, don't tell me that's the excuse they pulled. They sound similar.
I'm just saying.
They don't. One starts with an R, the other one starts with a T.
Okay, here we go. Apple iPhone voice-to-text feature is sparking controversy after a viral TikTok video showed a user speaking the word racist, which at first showed up as Trump before switching back to racist. Fox News Digital was able to replicate the issues multiple times. The voice-to-text dictation feature was observed briefly flashing Trump when a user said racist, before it quickly changed back to the original R word, just like the viral TikTok video. However, Trump did not appear every time the user said the R word. The voice-to-text feature also wrote words like Reinhold and you when a user said that word most of the time. And the feature, I'm trying not to use the word racist too much because then the algorithm will be like, we ain't pushing you out.
Yeah, they won't like you.
Like me. So, an Apple spokesperson said on Tuesday, I worked for Apple for 11 years. All right, I'm going to tell you right now what you're going to hear is all bullshit. An Apple spokesperson said Tuesday the company is addressing the issue. Well, sure, they're addressing the issue now. That's not the bullshit part.
That's not the bullshit.
We are aware of an issue with the speech recognition model that powers dictation. We are rolling out a fix as soon as possible, the spokesperson said. Apple says that the speech recognition models that power dictation may temporarily display words with some phonetic overlap before landing on the correct word. The bug affects other words with an R consonant when dictated, Apple says.
Okay, hold on. No. Let me first say this. I smell bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Second, what that means essentially, if you don't understand what it's talking about, the phonetic overlay, right? It's saying that the word may sound similar or part of the word sounds similar to another word. Maybe like the middle two consonants or the first consonant. What part of racist, sorry for saying that, sounds anything like Trump? If there's maybe a P in it, sure, I can understand
Listen,
that. If there's an MP.
Bottom line. I'm going to bottom line for you.
The thing, there's U, M, and P. Listen, not even the R part should be caught because the A comes after and the R word. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? The phonetic overlay excuse
an iPhone is just like any other computer. It's only going to do what it's programmed to do. That is it. And so someone programmed this to do this. Some engineer or group of engineers thought, this will be funny and blah, blah, blah. And they're probably all upset that Apple's giving $500 billion investment in the U.S. manufacturer, making Donald Trump look good. But now all of a sudden this comes out. So,
first of all,
it had to be programmed.
How childish. Nothing
gets accidentally done on a computer.
No. I agree. And that's what I first said when you showed me the video. I said, listen, if this is real, some engineer put this in. Maybe it was one engineer. Maybe it was a group. Maybe it was a team. I would hope that corporate didn't tell them, hey, put this in. I would hope.
No, I don't.
Because the paper trail would be ridiculous.
No one's gonna know. This is an engineer or a group or a couple of engineers wanting to make a statement because they're so angry. Orange Man won.
I like Apple products. They're good. They've done.
Dude, Apple treated me very nice. But that doesn't mean I'm going to kiss their ass every time.
No, of course.
This is typical.
But
this is a typical thing. Listen, Apple isn't as squeaky clean as you think. I mean, I remember one time working in
the Loop
in Cupertino, and there is a culture of think our way or keep your mouth quiet or you're going to lose your job. Yeah. Like as a conservative from Texas, it was clear that I was already not welcome in the beginning. I had to kind of make my way and be like, I'm just an ordinary dude. Don't worry.
Don't care about this politics things you're talking about. What are politics?
Yeah.
We don't know. We speak pretty one day.
Yeah, we talk pretty one day. So, that is what happened. That's where we're at with that. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, back to our originally scheduled programming.
Are we back to Captain America? Can we not let this just die? Can we not let it die?
I just thought it's good news. Captain America: Brave New World won't be the lowest grossing MC movie at the box office.
Oh.
The Hulk and the Marvels will still remain the lowest of the low. And
good for you.
Good for you, Captain America: Brave New World.
Poor guys.
Let's see here.
That's what they've got to hope for. That we're not the worst.
Not the worst. They got 289 million, like we talked about yesterday, so far worldwide, surpassing the 265 million worldwide of 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Okay. Can we adjust that for inflation, everybody? Do me a favor. Look up what is $265 million adjusted for from 2008 adjusted for inflation.
How much is it now in this moment? I'm just curious. The box office, because now we had another day.
Yeah, go to box office.
Hope. Maybe they had a really big Monday.
No, it hasn't updated. 291. They had $2 million added. $2 million.
Yeah, that's rough.
All right. The MC movie that MC movie was the franchise's lowest grossing entry until Captain Marvel sequel The Marvels finished its 4-week run in theaters with just 199.7 million. And I saw that in theaters. I reviewed it. I sat through that movie. That's the things I like to do for you out there in the YouTube world. I take those hits. I brought my wife to that movie, and then I had to apologize to her for about another day and a half after that for taking her to that movie, because she looked at me and said, "What the frig is this?" That you like, at least making her, if it's going to be a bad movie, then at least make it entertainingly bad. It wasn't even entertaining.
How much was it that we said? Let's say 200.
Say 289.
289.
289 million adjusted. Yeah, you get the inflation calculator up there. See, that's what everybody forgets to do. They do all these. Oh, check for this, check for that. Listen, ticket prices cost a lot more than they did in 2008.
Let's say it's 2025. January. Because they only put January because February hasn't gone through fully. No, because it only does every fiscal year. Sorry, that's why. Let's go to... No, because...
2008, buddy.
2008? Are we comparing it to the Hulk or the Marvels?
Hulk.
When did it come out?
Don't worry, 2008.
Just 2008 January?
Just do it.
It can change a little bit more.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
I think you did that backwards.
I did backwards. Well,
you did that backwards.
No. I did this. This much money in 2025 equals in 2008. But it gave me it in a backwards statement because I think it's... You
gotta re-enter it the other way.
Okay.
Trust me.
So we'll say 2008. No, because it's asking me the amount here. I have to put the money in here.
Trust me.
Look. Look.
Yeah, I've done this before. I know.
All right, let you put it in.
You just have to flip the years.
That's not going to be the right number.
Yep, there it is. In January, so basically $289 million in January of today's money in January of 2008.
No.
Would be 434,000.
It says 434 million in January 2025 equals 289.
Yeah, see the deflation
in 2008.
Do you see how much less it's worth?
Right, but
that's what we're talking about.
I wanted to figure out how much this equaled.
That is what you're looking at.
No, that's saying. Okay, I was just trying to figure out the direct.
Here, watch this.
Because if you do it the other way, what you get is.
We'll do this way. Everybody pay attention. Here we go. U.S. inflation calculator. We'll just do $1 as a processor goes nuts here.
That website does not work.
Oh, that one doesn't work?
No, that's why I went
They
to
shut it down. Did Elon shut that one down too?
I went to calculator.net. That's the one I'm using.
Okay. What's this say? 289
I put on average because
in average 25.
25. That's what I did. In January 2008.
Yeah.
Equals 192. 192 million in 2008 equals 289 today. That's
Yeah.
I was right, Gringo.
The total, well, no, it's just you just reverse it.
No,
The
you
total
did.
inflation rate from basically is 50%.
Right.
The inflation rate is 2.43%. Basically, it's
Yeah, but my number was right. I just want to say that.
both our numbers are right, but it's basically what I'm saying is, and I wanted the bigger number to show that the Hulk, if the Hulk was released today and did as many ticket sales,
Well, how much
as-
did the Hulk make in 2008? We can do that.
it did 265. So it would have so $265 million would have been much more if that's because you break it down by
Yeah.
ticket sales. So it would have beat it. So
Here it would be
the Marvel
about 400 million. 400 million.
Yeah, it would have been 400 million. It would have so it would have been absolutely more.
smoked it. Yeah, it would have smoked it.
So that's all I'm saying. No one likes to adjust these things for inflation because it just makes it look even worse.
Oh yeah. Well, also you have to understand. I think also because if you adjust it for inflation, you have to also adjust maybe the costs that it costs to produce the film to truly get an accurate comparison.
Again, that's the budget. That's not taking into marketing and all that.
True. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to truly be honest with the comparison.
Inflation covers everything.
Well, inflation.
What it cost a guy to be a chef on a movie set, make sure all the crew ate. That's part of that budget.
No,
that's part of that inflation.
Well, what I'm saying is when you do that inflation, right? You also have to then realize, okay, it doesn't mean it made $200 million more worth of profit. You then have to go back and see what was the budget for it. How much did it spend on marketing? How much did it spend on making the movie? And then adjust that for inflation. And then you do the math to get a true, accurate.
But I think if you're just looking at ticket sales, box office, we're looking at box office
sure.
to box office.
If you look at box office to box office,
the 2008 movie still killed it.
Still killed it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was its lifetime span, but even then it was a short lifetime span. So even then, it's rough.
All right.
Don't worry, we'll be talking about them later this week. Captain America: Brave New World.
It's like the movie that won't,
it's a movie that just won't be put.
It's like
away.
The Marvel version of Amelia Perez for me. It just keeps coming back from the dead. It's like Jason Voorhees. You kill him, but he comes back from the dead. You kill him, he comes back from the dead. So, but that's it. That's what we got. And there's a few political things I didn't want to get into. I just, there's so many lawsuits flying right now. I got to get my head wrapped around them. Apparently, I'm not going to get into the politics. I think we've had some fun talking about pop culture today. It's been a nice Tuesday, and I think we're going to end it there. I think we're going to say we're going to go play some video games is what we're going to do. What do you think?
I'm cool with that.
You cool with that? All right.
Tomorrow I got to do some recording work.
All right, everybody. So that's been Late Night with the Gringo. That's been episode 42. We're going to call it a Tuesday. I'm going to go watch a rewatch. I'm going to go watch Raw and play video games at the same time. So from south of the border, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Salud. A huevo.
A huevo.
We're going to get out of here.
Adios.